All right, let's get right into it. You ever look at your bank account? Your salary is pretty good, right? But then you ask yourself, where is all my money going? I mean, you're earning well, but you just don't feel like you're actually getting ahead. If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone. And today, we're going to break down exactly why that happens and how to fix it kind of stealthily.
Oh man, we've all been there, right? You're out at dinner and you're mentally doing the math on the menu, wondering if you should split an appetizer to save like 12 bucks. And then your friend just casually whips out their phone to show you pictures of their brand new Tesla. The first thing you think is, what am I doing wrong? But here's the secret, and this is a big one. You might actually be in a way better financial spot than them. See, the real game of wealth isn't about what you see on the surface. It's all about what's happening behind the scenes.
And that right there, that's the core of what we're talking about today. It's this huge conflict between two things. On one side, you've got the performance of wealth. You know what I'm talking about. The flashy cars, the designer clothes, those perfect portfolio screenshots all over social media. It's loud, it's in your face, and it's all designed to impress. But then, on the other side, you've got the reality of wealth. And that's, well, it's the opposite. It's quietly stacking your money, focusing on the numbers, and just letting compounding do its silent, crazy, powerful work. They are two completely, totally different games.
So our goal here is pretty simple, really. We're going to show you how to play the real game. We're pulling back the curtain on the specific moves that let you build some serious wealth without anyone ever noticing. And, maybe even more important, we're going to talk about why that silence, that's your single biggest strategic advantage. It's your superpower.
All right, first up, let's talk about the power of just keeping your financial wins to yourself. And look, this isn't about being secretive or weird. It's about being strategic.
So to really get this, let's imagine two people. Let's call them Poor Peter and Rich Richard. They both work at the same company, they're both doing well, and bam, they each get a fantastic $20,000 bonus. Peter is so excited he announces it at a big family dinner. Richard, just as excited, tells absolutely nobody. And what happens? Well, for Peter, that announcement immediately opens the floodgates. Family members start asking for money, you get the guilt trips, the pressure to spend. For Richard, his silence just lets him do what he wants with zero outside pressure.
So, what's the end result for poor Peter? Well, after 6 months of basically managing everyone else's expectations and funding their so-called emergencies, he had exactly $0 left. Nothing. His relationships got all weird and strained, and that awesome bonus, poof, done.
And Rich Richard, what about him? Well, he took that $20,000 and immediately invested it. 5 years go by, and thanks to that quiet, almost magical power of compounding, his bonus doubled. It's now $40,000. No drama, no one else's opinions, just pure, simple growth.
Okay, so here's the first big takeaway for you. This is your move. Practice financial stealth. Seriously, the next time you get a raise, a bonus, any kind of financial win, just tell no one. Don't post about it, don't mention it to your coworkers, just quietly invest it and let it do its thing for you in silence.
And look, this whole idea of external pressure, it doesn't just come from family. It also comes from the environment you put yourself in. I mean, the people you hang out with, they have a massive and often totally invisible impact on your wallet.
Let's go back to our guys. Poor Peter's friends, they were all about expensive brunches and big nights out with bottle service. Just to keep up, his social life was costing him like $800 a month. Rich Richard, on the other hand, he found friends who were more into hiking, cooking at home, and yeah, even talking about investing. His social spending, maybe $200 a month. See the difference? One environment creates this constant pressure to spend, while the other just normalizes saving and building.
And the outcome of these two completely different social scenes is, well, it's pretty stark. They have the exact same income, but Peter's savings rate was a tiny 3%. Richard's, a super powerful 18%. It's a huge deal. Your friends don't just influence what you spend. They change what you think is normal. And that's key, because environment is automatic. Willpower, that runs out.
So this is a good moment to kind of pause and ask yourself a tough question. Think about the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are their habits and their values making you richer? Or are they, even without meaning to, making you poor?
Okay, so we've talked about all these external pressures. Now let's turn inward and look at one of the absolute biggest wealth-building traps out there. We're talking about lifestyle inflation.
So what is lifestyle inflation? It's that super sneaky habit where the second you start earning more money, your spending just magically rises to meet it. You get a raise, and suddenly you convince yourself you need a nicer apartment, a more expensive car, fancier dinners out. It is, no joke, the single biggest reason why you see people making six figures who still feel totally broke.
Let's check back in with Peter and Richard. So they both get a big promotion. They go from making $60,000 a year to $80,000. Awesome, right? Well, Peter immediately upgrades his life. His rent shoots up by $600 a month. His car payment goes up by $300. A year later, his savings? Exactly the same. Richard, though, he keeps his expenses exactly the same. He just banks that entire raise. And in just 3 years, he saved an extra $90,000. That gap, that space between what you earn and what you spend, that is your freedom fund. And listen, this is not about being cheap. It's about being smart with your money. For example, Peter spends $3,000 on a designer jacket because he wants to project this image of success. Richard spends the exact same amount of money on professional courses that end up tripling his freelance rate. You see the difference? One is spending for status. The other is an investment in skills that gives you a real, tangible return. All right, so here's your next move. It's simple. First, figure out your savings rate. Just take what you save each month and divide it by your take-home pay. Got it? Okay. Then, find just one recurring expense you can cut. Just one. And then automate that exact amount to go directly into your savings or investment account. The whole goal is to just widen that gap.
Okay, last big piece of the puzzle. Let's talk about the real engine of wealth creation. Building assets and creating multiple streams of income, all while staying completely under the radar.
Relying on just one source of income it's fragile. Richard got this, so he spent his weekends building up a freelance writing side hustle. Meanwhile, poor Peter spent his weekends, watching Netflix and consuming entertainment. And this isn't about grinding yourself into dust 24/7. It's about being strategic and turning just some of your free time into an engine that builds wealth for you.
So what was the result of Richard's quiet weekend work? Well, he started earning an extra $1,000 a month, which went straight into his investments. In 5 years, that side hustle alone, just the side hustle, added an extra $60,000 to his portfolio. And that's not even counting the market gains. The best part? His coworkers had absolutely no clue. He was building wealth at like double their speed.
And this all leads to the ultimate choice we all face. Are you going to buy assets that pay you or liabilities that cost you? So with a chunk of savings, Peter goes out and buys a $45,000 luxury car. That's a liability. It costs him $850 a month and loses value every single day he owns it. Richard takes the same amount of money and buys a small rental property. That's an asset. It generates $800 a month in passive income. So after 5 years, what's the score? Peter has a car that's worth way less. Richard has collected $48,000 in rent.
So here's what it all boils down to. When you stop spending your energy and your money on the performance of wealth, you free up all those resources to focus on the actual, real mechanics of building it. Your silence isn't about hiding anything. It's about focus. It is your greatest competitive advantage, hands down.
And that's the final question I really want to leave you with today. Just think about it. All the energy, the time, the money that you might be spending just to look a certain way. What could you build for yourself? What could you really build, quietly and powerfully, if all of that was redirected into building a real, solid foundation for your future?